Ouch.
Okay, I think we will start because I'm sure there's lots of people who are going to want to speak this evening. I actually forgot to, right from the beginning, want to thank the Workers' Beer Company, and I think it is fantastic that we're here in a good socialist pub this evening. So, Ian, if you could give us some introduction, some background to what we're here for today.
Hi, I'm Ian here, Fire Brigade Union, EC member for London Region. I'm also after serving firefighter for 23 years. First of all, thanks for the invite to come along and speak to you about what we're facing at the moment with the loss of Clapham Fire Station along with 11 other fire stations in London. It's also heartening to see so many people, because I've got to say this is about the 4th or 5th public meeting I've now done, and I've got to say you've surpassed every meeting I've been to for attendance, so I think you need to congratulate yourself for that, for the first part. Where are we? Well, obviously you're all aware that Clapham has been proposed for closure along with the other 11 fire stations, and the Fire Authority have met today to look at how they intend to combat Mayor Borish Johnson's proposal that he's going to use an unprecedented directive to force through the cuts, including the closure of Clapham, without a full consultation as well. Because as far as Johnson's concerned, he said that he's got his faith behind the Commissioner of London Fire Brigade. I've got no faith behind that man whatsoever, because I don't believe this plan, the London Safety Plan, that is responsible for the closure of Clapham, is based on risk, which is what he should be basing his proposals on. It's based purely on finance. And what we're seeing here is that Borish Johnson wants to keep his commitment to the public by saying that we're going to get elected on the basis of keeping a council tax freeze or a deduction in council tax, ignoring the commitment he gave that he wouldn't go along and shut frontline fire services, fire stations, and in fact he would go to the Treasury and the government and ask for more money to maintain the proper fire service that London leads. And today, when we was in the Fire Authority meeting, and there's some colleagues around here that could bear witness to this, we heard things from Tory councillors, and even the appointed councillor Councillor Tandy, who turned around and said that as far as they're concerned, they was quite content with proposals that Borish Johnson had put forward for consultation, and didn't want to have full public consultation, because Labour today moved 2 motions. The first of which was to turn around and say, you know what, Mr Dobson, we don't agree with your plan, we don't agree with your cuts, and on that basis we're not going to give you, as an authority, the delegated power to go and shut Clapham or any of the other 11 stations. That was the first motion, and that got carried 9-8, and that was to turn around and say to Boris, if you want to use your directive you can, but we're going to ignore it, we're not going to comply with it. So congratulations to the Labour, Lib Dems and Greens for standing up. Second motion, which was just as important, followed on from that. They wanted a move to maintain that if the directive does get used by Borish Johnson, and that they do go to close Clapham Fire Station, that the widest possible consultation could take place with the public. And yes, again the Tories said that they didn't want that to happen, and so much so that the chair cancelled the meeting for 2 hours and said he wanted an adjournment and threw his toys out the pram. 2 hours later they come back, had a lengthy debate over this, and like I say, Councillor Tandy and other people were clearly saying, as far as they're concerned, they've got enough fire stations, enough fire engines, we can do with less. Doesn't see why the public purse should pay for these stations when we've got too many. And yet, in this neck of the woods, we can look at some of your past stuff, and you've only got to look at the recent incident with the helicopter where Clapham was the first in attendance there. Yeah. The first machine there. And yet, as far as Councillor Tandy is concerned, it's not important. Not important enough to have a wide public consultation. So I'm pleased to say that yet again, the Labour, Lib Dems and the Greens stuck to their guns, and on this time they passed another motion that said in the event that Johnson uses his directive, they will force this motion through to turn around and say that the public consultation will also include a 2-hour in every borough briefing. And that means that the commissioner's got to come out, officers of the fire service got to come out, along with local councillors, including Andrew Dismore and Navin Shah, and that, to come around and speak to you, the public, and turn around and say to you why these cuts are not necessary and why these cuts are both wrong and reckless. And I think that's a really good move by the Labour today, because the Tories really didn't want this through on the agenda today. So congratulations again to them, and it's nice to see that 51%, as far as I'm concerned, because it was a 9-8 vote, 51% of this fire authority actually knows what it's about, to support the public, support the firefighters, and maintain a public service, an emergency public service, and not allow it to be cut down and then eventually sold off to the private profiteers, because we know that's what's going to come later on. So as far as I'm concerned, today was quite momentous. Doesn't mean it's a victory by any stretch of the imagination, because there's a lot more to do. Because I've got to tell you, if we're going to stand there and wait for firefighters to strike and win this battle, we ain't going to do it. If we're going to stand there and wait for firefighters to campaign and win this battle, it ain't going to happen. The only way we're going to do this is if the public get involved and the public comes on board with their firefighters to save their fire station, like you're doing in Clapham, because then you can have a say, because there's a massive difference between the bailiffs coming in on a fire station when they come to close one and chucking members of the public out of a fire station than there is firefighters. Because firefighters will be intimidated, they will be bullied, harassed by their employer and threatened with discipline. And it will be another matter to start kicking off men, women and children out of a fire station. Because I'll give you this commitment. If Clapham is threatened with closure and it goes through for closure, we will want to occupy that station. Yeah. We will not let Borish Johnson take it away. Because Clapham Fire Station is your fire station. It's not his, it's not the authorities, it's the public's fire station. And the only reason they want to sell it off is because it's going to bring in large sums of money, because that sits on a wealthy site so they can go and build new developments on it. And so as far as I'm concerned, there has to be a maintenance of the 150-year tradition of Clapham Fire Station in Clapham. So whatever you do, get together with your firefighters, stand strong, go and tell your neighbouring boroughs. That's the important part. Tell your neighbouring residents to get involved in this fight, because it's your fight. It's not our fight alone, it's your fight. And the only way you're going to be successful is if we come together to turn around and say to Borish Johnson, no, you're not shutting our fire station. So please stay strong and please pass the word.